Okay, first initial step, identify base number on base pole, rover number on rover pole. First step here, turn base on. As base is coming on, come to rover, turn rover on. On base, this light right here identifies satellites. You always want to make sure that you have green satellites and red satellites. Same process on your rover. Green satellites, red satellites. Once your lights are all set up, come to your data collector. On your data collector, we go setup, base station. Your first point you're going to pick is your base pole. Sometimes you have multiple base poles. Always make sure that you travel down towards the bottom and find your base poles.
Base pole number.
Base point number. This is base pole 1 on this particular job. Once that's selected, hit next. You're always going to have Topcon Hyper-V. Antenna height is 00, always measure to base. Next, Topcon FH915 SS, serial port C, broad rate's always 3400, our format is CMR. At this point, hit configure. Here, it is asking for serial numbers. The serial number we're looking for, because we're setting up the base, is the base number. Come back. Identify the base number, select.
Bluetooth connected.
You should have Bluetooth connected off your base. It should talk to you. Now from here, this is very important. Radio mode for base setup needs to say base. And our protocol is always FH915 plus. Once that's set, hit set.
Bluetooth disconnected.
Bluetooth disconnects from the base. And now from this point, you go next, and then finish, and then it's going to ask you for another number. We are still in base setup mode, so we're picking base serial number.
Bluetooth connected.
Bluetooth connects. Base started okay. That's what you're always looking for. Once base started okay, the Bluetooth off the base will disconnect. Now, from this point, we have double red X. We're going to set up radio. RTK fixed over here off your rover, because this is the setup we're going, and it's the same numbers here. Port, serial port C, baud rate 38400. Our format is CMR. Hit configure. This point it's asking for a serial number, and we are setting up the rover. The rover number is 13206 here. So here we pick 13206. Select.
Bluetooth connected.
Rover said Bluetooth connected.
RTK lost. RTK fixed. RTK lost.
The next screen we're looking for is the radio setup. So radio mode is rover. Make sure it says rover. If it says base, you must change it to rover, because this is a rover setup. Once you pick that, our protocol is always FH915 plus. They have to match the rover and the base. Hit set. Sometimes it takes a minute depending on file size. Once you come out of that, hit OK. It brings you back to the screen. It's always going to say waiting for corrections. Then it skips to waiting to initialize. Initializing is next. And then it goes green. That is the gist of the setup for a base and a rover. Okay, so now while we're still at it, here's what I'm going to do. If your battery dies during the middle of your work session. If it's half the day, lunchtime, your battery dies. Okay, so I'm gonna turn this off to simulate the battery died.
Power off. Receiver shutting down.
You just you pull the old battery, you put a new battery in, you power it on.
RTK lost.
So at this point, now you're setting up your base, you're waiting for your satellites again. Green satellites, red satellites. Come down to your data collector. You have a 1X right here. Hit the single X. Make sure you have position numbers changing.
RTK fixed.
Checking for your satellites. And it initializes. That easy.